Go on then, start from that. I've started filming now, so I might as well start from that. I've got a train of thought, so go on, crack on.
Right. Some memories from the drawing office. I mentioned it previously, and I mentioned what I did in the drawing office, and I don't think I mentioned any of the names of the people in there that I worked with. There was Derek Fletcher, who rose to be Chief Electrical Engineer in Vickers, and I don't know whether he became a director. He was the one that I used to go cycling with.
Yeah.
We used to cycle all over, as I mentioned previously. But I do remember one thing. I was boasting how good I was at cycling. And they said, load of rubbish. So I said, right, I'll go from Barrett Wolverston in under half an hour on a push bike. That was the old roads, not the bypasses, on the old roads, up the hills and all that. And they said, never, never. So it was all arranged for a penny and a pint. From the square at Barrett to the square at Ulverston.
Yeah.
Anyway, one or two decided to join in. There was Derek, there was Howard Morrell, May, I can't remember anymore, and the lad was pacemaking as George Fleming on a motorbike. And there was people following us. Anyway, from Barrett Wolverston, I did it in under the half hour, but Derek Fletcher did it in 22 minutes on a push bike.
Yeah.
That's in the 50s on the roads. Howard Morrell did it quicker. I did it in about 29.5 minutes and collapsed in the square in Ulverston. I couldn't get on my bike
Still less
again.
than 30 though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Could you
it was
drink
less
a
than
pint?
30. Yeah, so that was that. It just came to mind when I was thinking back.
Well, we don't have to do it chronologically anyway. We can just keep going back and give him another.
I think we ended up at. I had a motorbike, first gear. I took that motorbike to Newcastle with me.
Yeah.
I drove it from Barrow to Newcastle, and I sold it up there. I sold it at, I forget what it was called now, but it was a well-known trials rider up in Newcastle, around that area.
Right.
And I bought a BSA Gold Star 350 trials bike.
Right.
Had no silencer on it. And I drove that home, and I'd looked it up. So at that time, Eddie Crooks, who you might know,
Yeah, from Crooks.
He'd come over from the Isle of Man, and he was working at Harold Jackson's down Roos.
Right.
Harold Jackson's had his workshop down there.
Yeah.
He was opposite North Row.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of bungalows on it now. So I used to go there with me James. Anyway, I went in one day with this bike when I came home, and I went in and Eddie was there. I said, Eddie. He said, what? Because I knew him, you know, up and down in. And I said, I want an exhaust pipe, 42.5 inches long, and this special exhaust. He said, what do you want that for? I said, well, it's supposed to have it on. He said, no, those are for racing. He said, you're not racing. I said, oh, no. So I didn't bother then. So all I had on the end, instead of a silencer, was they used to do oil in pint cans, in little tin cans.
Yeah.
Little oblong can with a round twist top.
Yeah.
So I had one of those stuck on the end for a silencer. I used to go I went from Barrow to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Used to go the old days 6. There was no motorway then.
What did you go to Newcastle for?
Well, I was working up there.
All right. Oh, so go on. Fill in the gap there, because last week we were up to the point where you'd just finished your time, I think. You come out of your apprenticeship.
But I went up there in my apprenticeship.
During your apprenticeship, right?
During the apprenticeship, if you remember. in 1956 I went up there.
Right, okay.
To 1956. Yeah, till 1957.
Right, okay.
I went up early in 1956 and came back in February, March 1957.
Okay, yeah.
And
So
that's the time
21, 22. Yeah, yeah.
I asked to go up the top yard.
Yeah.
So I used to do it in 3 hours on the motorbike.
Yeah.
So I rode that all over. I had a girlfriend in Rochdale.
Yeah.
So I used to go down the M1 from Newcastle to Rochdale and across to Rochdale.
How did you meet her?
When I had the motorbikes, I used to knock around with a lad from Stainton, Brian Lambert.
Mm-hmm.
So we were into motorbikes.
Yeah.
And there was a crew of us who used to congregate on the village green of a night, running backwards and forwards to see how fast we could go to Morecambe on the motorbikes, there and back of a night.
Yeah.
And his mother had a lodger in Eric Regine from the Isle of Man. So he was in lodgings, and I think he'd worked at Rochdale one time, or he'd stopped at the Church Inn, the Church Style in Rochdale, and he took me there one day, well, one weekend it must have been, and I met the girl of the pub, and we got on together, so I used to visit her in the pub.
Yeah.
So that was it. I remember going up the motorway, and I used to take a lad with me on the back. And we never used to have proper motorcycle clothes. All we had was a pair of wellies, if you were lucky, a pair of wellies and a big gabardine coat.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the big gabardines, and that was it. And a berry, if you were lucky.
A berry. Is this sort of like, in terms of, is this like pre-rockers? It must be pre-mods and rockers. They're more like 60s.
1954. This
1954.
In the 50s.
What did they call you at that time?
I don't know.
No.
We weren't bikers or anything.
No.
I can't remember.
Just people who had bikes. And
Just lads that had bikes.
Yeah. So you didn't have any like funny hairdos or anything?
No. Well, we probably had funny hairdos, but nothing in particular. So, as I say, and then I got a bee in my bonnet about this motorbike, because it kept breaking top piston rings, and I got fed up of changing them. Yeah. Because you could do that in the old days, you know. Yeah. They were easy enough. I used to maintain it anyway. So I got in, well, somebody got in touch with me and said, "Oh, there's a sand racer here, do you want to buy it?" An AGS sand racer. That was the racing on the sands, obviously. Yeah. Like they did at Southport. So I said, "Oh, right." So I remember selling me Gold Star. I remember getting £120 for it. Right. And lying on the bed and throwing, £120. I'd never seen so much money, really, you know. So anyway, I bought this sand racer. Yeah. No speedo, no exhaust, had nothing on it. She wants to go that. Short intermission. Yeah. The dog needs to go out.
She's regular, isn't she? About this time last week. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on then.
Just leave the door slightly, Matthew.
All right. Okay.
And she'll
slightly open.
She'll come back in if she's gone.
So you sent racer. Was it road legal then? Was it just? No. Did it matter in those days? Or no.
It wasn't legal for anything.
Yeah.
I remember coming back when I was coming back in 1957,
Yeah.
in March, petrol was on the rationing then.
Right.
You had to have coupons and you only got so much petrol.
Right.
In fact, between us, 4 of us up there, we bought a big car, a big American car, Ford Lincoln Zephyr.
Right.
And we used to go round in that. I think we only paid 50 quid for it in the scrapyard.
Right. So,
But anyway, that's another story. But I got this bike and coming home, and the blooming something went wrong with the ignition.
yeah.
So I had to go back to Newcastle again to get it fixed. I got about 10 or 15 miles out, went back, then driving along again,
Yeah.
a bus, the timing chain bust on it. So I had to push it 5 miles to get to a garage.
Yeah.
Halfway, I forget the place now, and then it was getting dark, so I was riding along in the dark, no lights, nothing on it. And then I got on the A6 and I was pedalling along. I couldn't go fast. I was pedalling along and there was a little red light in front of me, and I thought, I bet that's a policeman. And it was a policeman on a push bike. So I had to catch up with him.
Yeah.
Hey lad, where you going? I said, oh, I'm trying to get to Barrow-in-Furness. I'd gone past Carlisle, down.
Yeah.
He said, oh, you've come the wrong way, lad. He said, you needs to go back. But he said, I'd get off the road if I was you on that bike. There'll be an accident. He said, there's a house down there. Knock on the door and tell them I sent you and they'll put you up for the night.
Right.
So I knocked on this house and they put me up for the night.
Hey.
So
Well, just a family or something. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was. Anyway, the next day I got up and it had been snowing, hadn't it? It was icy as well. So I got to the top of Shap
Yeah.
and they were turning people away because it was that snowy and icy.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I've got to get to Barrow. Anyway, he said, well, you'll have to turn round. I said, I'm not turning round. So this bike had knobbly tyres on it. I said, I'm going on the grass verge. So I went on the grass verge, didn't I, over Shap.
Oh, Jesus.
Down the other side,
Yeah.
got on the road, fell off the bike on some ice.
Oh.
And the petrol came out of the tank.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, what am I going to do? I've got no coupons.
Yeah.
So anyway, there was a garage down the road. She wants to go up now.
I thought he's fucking...
I know.
Very demanding.
Go on. Go on. Up to bed. Go on. So anyway, I stopped at this garage and I said to the bloke that owned the garage, I've run out of petrol, mate, and I need to get to Barrow. Oh, don't worry, he said, I'll give you a gallon to get back. So I got a gallon of petrol to get home. And then I had the bike for a while, and then my mate, Peter Buckley, he persuaded me to sell it to him.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'd bought a Dot Scrambler from Windermere. I think it was Aries at Windermere. So I had the 2 bikes. I kept one at Stainton because me and my mate drove it between us.
Yeah.
And I had this one. Anyway, my mate Arthur Buckley talked me into buying this, to selling him my bike.
Mm.
I used to drive tanks in the army, so you can imagine what it was like on a motorbike, a big farm lad. Anyway, that was that, and then had various motorbikes. Then when I came back, I went up the top yard, as I said.
Yeah.
I asked to go up the top yard, went up there, and then I was 21. Then I went in the army. I had to go in the army.
Right, yeah.
At 21.
Yeah.
So you had to go to Preston,
Yeah.
to the barracks at Preston for your medical.
Yeah.
Stand in the queue with no clothes on, and stringe your ears.
Yeah.
They stringed my ears because they said you can't hear properly, and a piece of wax like a pencil came out and tinkled in the bowl. He said, "Can you hear now?" I said, "No, I can hear you a bit. I can hear you a bit better." So that was that, and then you were transported to Catterick.
Oh yeah, the northeast.
Yeah, the Catterick Army camp where you did your basic training. Because I ended up in the Royal Signals.
Right.
Because of my uncle, I think it was, being in the Royal Signals.
Right.
Because he asked you, did you have any members of your family that had been in the army and what regiment they were in?
Right.
So that's why I got in the Royal Signals, I think. Okay. And then...
what about your apprenticeship? Did you not take that into account as well, the fact that you were... No.
What?
Like,
well, it could have been. I don't know. They just said... because there was a lot of lads in there that were deadbeats as well. So, so that's why we put me there, I think, with all the deadbeats. One lad got sent home in the fortnight, unfit for military discipline.
What did he do?
I don't know, he wouldn't do what he was told.
Didn't out.
I got locked up in the clink for disobeying the corporal in charge for laughing at him. So I got locked up in the glass house.
Do you remember what you were laughing at? What was
what?
Why were you laughing at the corporal?
I don't know, because I don't know why I was laughing, but anyway, it must have said something. But I always remember it was November Armistice Day, and we had uniforms that didn't fit. You know, and they stuck me for my punishment. I had to stand on the corner selling flax for poppies for Poppy Day. Yeah. We used to go rifle shooting on the fells at Merton. Remember me saying Merton when I was evacuated? Well, they used to go shooting. There was a range there, walk-up range, which spilled over into Merton. The fells up Merton Fell. So that's where we used to go and do rifle shooting, the 303 rifle shooting. Then after a month, you were allocated to different places. I had to go to Lincoln as a telegraph operator. So I went to Lincoln for 6 months, where I did my training. I had to learn Morse code and learn how to type, learn reperforators. Those, the ticker tapes you see on the pictures that punch the holes in. We had to learn to type them and to read them, read the ticker tape. Don't ask me now because I've forgotten. So I was there for 6 months. I used to get locked up, put on jankers regular, because we were in big bunks, 12 or 14 in a big bunk, and all the lads were in there, and I used to made sure I got in the cookhouse, washing the pots, the tin bash, all the tins and all that. They did the cooking for the camp. I made sure I got locked up in there because there was a pantry with all the food in. So I used to had a blouse on jacket, and I used to fill it full of food for the lads. That was appreciated.
What was it like doing national service then? Going from the yard and then going and doing that.
Well, it was different, wasn't it? I mean, making new friends. You didn't know anybody. There was nobody from up the street there, so you had to make new friends. And then you were there there's some photographs somewhere of me in the army but that was later on. Make new friends, and then after 6 months you were off again.
Right.
You know, you were lucky if you got the same mates with you.
Yeah.
And then after 6 months, when you'd passed out, you know, when you'd done your basic training, you had to get your uniform tailored,
Right.
so it fit you properly.
Yeah.
You had to do that. There was hair cutting and vaccinations. That was another one. You had to have your TAB, I think it was, or tetanus or something. You used to stand, I remember me telling you about school, in a big line.
Yeah.
Well, all the lads had to stand in a big line, and the medic went up and, not the same needle, different needles, and give you the injections, and the lads were passing out with it. So, whoa! Well, I'd never had an injection in my life, because my mother wouldn't let me have an injection at all. Anyway, when I had mine, I went in the gym and I hung from the bars, you know, get it circulating. And I was in the gym. So I recovered from that. And then they had a boxing tournament, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, clever me, I'll have a go. So anyway, you wouldn't believe it. I got a bite of the semi-final. I didn't have to fight at all till I got to the semi-final for some reason. Don't ask me why. Anyway, the semi-final, I was up against this lad, and we got in the ring, and he said, "Have you ever fought before?" I said, "No." I said, "I've never fought, you know."
Yeah.
I did have a fight years ago on a train where I nearly killed somebody, so that stopped me.
We'll come back to that one after this story.
Yeah. So I wouldn't fight after that.
Yeah.
You know. So he said, I better tell you then. He said, I was the Southern Area's boxing champion. I said, he said, I'll let you off lightly.
Yeah.
So in the ring, dancing around, hit him once, don't remember anything else. But it ended up with a lad, a Liverpool lad, Billy Kirkpatrick. He was in the final against this this champion, and I always remember he kept hitting this Billy Kirkpatrick, and it was like one of those dolls. You go bonk, bonk, bonk. It was like that. It didn't matter how hard he hit him. He bounced back all the time. I always remember that. He wasn't half tough, was Billy. So I did my 6 months there, passing out parade. You get your colours or whatever they were on your shoulder. Then I was, I forget what that was. Then I went into number one Special Communications Signal Troop. And got transferred to Brecon in South Wales.
Oh yeah.
Where the SAS were.
Brecon Beacons.
In Brecon itself. The South Wales Border Regiment.
Yeah.
In that camp there was the SAS and us, and we did the same training, you know, marching and running up at 6 o'clock in the morning for a 5 mile run and whatever else. And then we moved to Gloucester.
Right.
So I think I was at Brecon for about 6 months. Then we moved to Gloucester with the Glorious Gloucesters. Did you ever hear about them?
No, what are they?
That was the Korean War where somebody got a VC, Speakman VC, I think it was.
Right.
So they were all proud of that, weren't they? But we were attached, what they call attached.
Yeah.
There was only 30 of us.
Yeah.
And we didn't do any parades or anything.
Right.
All we did was 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 at night training. You know, that's all the army did anyway.
Yeah.
But we were just inside doing training.
Just training. What was going on at that time? So in the mid-50s, was the Korean War was happening then? Was it?
Yeah.
Was that about then? Yeah.
Yeah, it was 50 something to. I think I was in at the end of it.
Right. Okay.
But I remember when we were in Brecon, so that'd be 58.
Yeah.
In Brecon, there was going to be a war in Jordan, I think it was.
Right.
So we were all on a weekend away, you know.
Yeah.
In Barry Island, South Wales.
Yeah.
And a message came through. We had to go back to camp because we were on standby.
Right, so you could have seen active service if something had kicked off.
That's what we were for.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We were there as liaison, if you will.
Yeah.
So that if you went with the SAS, you were the radio operator.
Yeah.
For them, or with anybody.
Yeah.
Because we had all the gear. We had snow gear, tropical gear, all in the store. So we were on call all the time.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So we, anyway, we got a call and I remember marching through the streets. He got us all together. We were marching through the streets to the bus, to get on the bus to come back to camp.
Yeah.
So we were on standby there. I think we were on standby for 48 hours and it all fizzled out.
Right.
So yeah, so that was that. And what else? Oh, we had to do parachute training.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that when I was young. Yeah.
Yeah, parachute
maybe showing
training.
us a picture or something.
Yeah. There's pictures somewhere.
Yeah.
We had to do that because when I went in, I think I was on. Can't remember whether it was 25 bob a week. It was some silly money.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you pass your parachute training, you got 2 guineas a week.
How much is how many pounds are in a guinea? How many guineas are in a pound? So
well, there's 21 shilling in a guinea. So it was £2, 2 shillings.
In a guinea?
£2,
no.
21 shillings in a guinea. A pound was 20 shillings.
A pound's 20 shillings, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And a guinea was 21 shillings.
Oh, yeah, of course. That makes perfect sense.
21 shillings, which was £2, 10 pence.
Right, got you.
In the old days. So you were on £2.20.
Yeah.
£2.20.
Right. So, and what was the pay like in the yard at that time? So was that more than the yard?
No.
Yeah.
When I the last time I was in the yard, I was on £500 a year.
£500 a year.
So that was
£10 a week. Yeah,
roughly £10 a week.
Oh, bloody hell! So it's quite a big pay cut. I suppose you got your digs for that.
Well, you got your clothes, and you got your food and your clothing. It was all in.
Yeah.
You know, so once so bad, all the money you had was yours.
Yeah.
Virtually. But it was. But if you lost anything, you had to buy it.
Right. Your kit. Yeah. Know. And what was it like when you're in these different places? Like, would you go out socialising? Like, is it? I don't know what it's like. They go out drinking and stuff. And,
yeah. Because we finished at 5 o'clock.
Right.
All the others had to do guard duties.
Right.
And whatever. When we were in training, we had to do 24-hour guard duties.
Right.
That was in one of the sentry boxes with a club. 24 hours. It was. I think it was 4 on and 4 off.
Right.
You know, for 24 hours. Yeah. So where was I? Oh, I was in the army. We used to have to go out on what they call schemes. What they did, we when we did our basic training at Lincoln, the radio sets used to be about as big as that blooming cabinet behind you.
Yeah.
Big Canadian 52s on a big in a big van.
Yeah.
You know, with a generator and all that.
Yeah.
That was the set you used. When I went to this special communications, there were little ones like a computer. That was
Bloody
good
hell.
for those days.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the 50s,
used
bloody
to-
hell.
Used to have one of them, used to go off, used to give you rations for a couple of days and send you off to say, go on, you've got to make for so and so and so and so, and we'll pick you up in a couple of days and give you some more food.
Yeah.
So you had to make your way, say, from here to Kendal
Yeah.
in a
Right.
day,
Bloody hell.
however you got there.
Right.
You know, you could hitchhike.
Hitchhiking,
Well, we
yeah.
used to hitchhike
Yeah.
and all sorts. With a big burden on your back, that's it.
Yeah.
One of the big
Big
rucksacks.
backpacks, yeah.
Yeah, with your set in and a little hand generator used to
All right.
To-
Just for the power for your
get the
radios
power.
and that, yeah.
But if you were flat, you'd go in a telephone box and take the bulb out, and we had special adapters to screw in.
yeah.
And the aerials, you had to run a big aerial out. I remember once, they used to send you off in twos.
Yeah.
Me and my mate, we were miles away from anywhere, so we put it across a country road.
Yeah.
Big wagon come, didn't it?
Oh. No.
A big removal wagon. Oh, and dragged it away. Oh, yeah. And they used to make food caches, you know,
Yeah.
bury it in the ground.
Oh,
you
yeah,
had to find it.
Yeah.
Because we had all tin stuff,
Yeah.
you know, it was all tin stuff. In the tins were good. You used to have different tins. You used to get tinned salmon, which you couldn't get.
Yeah.
I used to, well, I'll tell you a bit about that. Used to get them when we went off, and self-eating cans of soup. They were just like an ordinary can,
Yeah.
and they had a big wick in the middle,
Yeah.
a big metal thing in the middle with a little cap on,
Yeah.
and used to light this wick, and this metal thing in the middle used to get hot. And you'd take the lid off, and it was hot.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Why don't we have them now?
Yeah.
That's a great idea, isn't it?
And then some of the tins used to have 5 bars of chocolate in, and it was surrounded with fruit gums.
Yeah.
Just
All
an
packed,
ordinary
yeah,
tin.
just packed in.
All packed in. Yeah, there was
yeah.
all sorts in them.
What was it like? Do it like, you know, after the war, and then you go to the army thing. That rations era continued, didn't it, for a bit after the war?
Yeah, till the 50s.
Till the 50s.
Yeah.
So was it better? Could you eat better in the army?
Well, it was the early 50s.
Right. So it did start to get a bit easier.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
50s,
So
yeah.
it got a lot better.
I did, right.
A lot better by then. Where was it?
Down in Wales and Gloucester.
Oh, we went to Gloucester. We were in there. We used to, you could go out drinking.
Yeah.
We got friendly with a bloke that had an Italian restaurant
Yeah.
in town, so he used to feed us sometimes with Italian food.
Yeah.
Big fight one night in one of the pubs. Somebody got beaten up, so we all went down. All 30 of us all went down to gang up with this lad. Good old days.
Yeah.
man.
So you nearly killed someone on a train.
Oh, right,
Yeah, did you? You went. You beat up someone in a pub.
Yeah. That was in Gloucester. What else did we do? Oh, when I first went, we were in the big huts where there's about 30 of us.
Yeah.
You know, just rows of bunks. Then we got into what they call the spiders, which were big cabins.
Yeah.
Big long cabins. I think there was about 20 of us in. There were little individual bunks, like individual cabins with a double-decker bunk in, and we had a little pot-bellied stove in each one.
Right.
And we used to get a ration of Coke a week.
Yeah.
And that had to last you the week.
Right.
This was in the winter, man.
Yeah.
When it was cold,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't last. So what we did at one end, there was a storeroom. We boarded it up and loaded it with Coke when they used to come round with a coke, we used to put it back in there, put it back in there. So we had it filled full of coke, didn't we? Till our commanding officer, I think he was only a lieutenant, you know, because we worked for the diplomatic corps of the War Office.
Right.
That's who our bosses were, not the army, as it were. Right. We were in the army, but we were responsible for them. Right. Till he come round one day. Oh, very good, yes. Oh, what's in the storeroom? So that was it, wasn't it?
Oh dear.
Yeah, and then when we ran short of coke, they were building houses somewhere around. So we shouldn't tell you this. We used to go and rip the floorboards up to when they were putting them down. We were ripping them up. Before I went in the army, I'd bought a car. Newlands garage. I bought a Hillman Aero Minx, two-seater sports car with a soft top on. The old ones with like a buggy seat on the back. If you can remember.
Yeah. I think they've been on Top Gear then. The Minx.
Have they?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. I haven't seen one. UG8737. I always remember the number.
Yeah. Nice.
I bought that just before I went in the army. Yeah. Because I couldn't drive. And my mate drove it back. The one that used to drive the tanks. Yeah. He drove it back. Because I was living on Walney then. All right. And I had a garage down my Casa Street.
Oh, yeah.
The end of my end of my Casa
Where on Walney were you at? Were you on your Todd? You were living on?
No, with my mother.
Oh, right.
We moved.
Right.
I think I mentioned it. We moved in 1950 something to Walney.
Right, I don't remember. No, you might have done. I've just not remember. What street then?
Westminster Avenue. It faced the gullies.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Faced the gullies. Yeah. We were the first ones in. There were council houses just been built, and we were the first ones in. So I had this garage down McAdams. They had allotments down there. They're still there. And there's the huts down there. If you go down as far as you can, the bottom end opposite your mother's. You know where your mother used to live?
On Dominion Street.
Dominion Street. If you go right down, keep on going as far as you can go. That's my Casa Street. Yeah. It goes right down to the beach.
It goes down to Avon. Yeah,
because Avon Street goes onto it. They like that. That's Avon Street.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, if you go down there, there's all the huts.
Yeah.
Because I had a garage down there for years. That was you.
You used to have a caravan down there.
Yeah,
I remember.
I had a garage that was your great granddad's till it got blown away. So I had they just built some garages. So I had a garage for £5 a week or £half a week or something to put this car in. And that's another story. The wind got up one night and blew the roof off all the garages. So anyway, it was in there and I thought, I'm going to take this out. So I took the car out. Didn't know how to drive a car, did I? I just watched him. So I jumped in this car and drove all the way to Lancaster. And it nearly got killed because it wouldn't go, you know.
Yeah.
It was one of those big, a little side valve. Got on the wrong side of the road overtaking something and the lorry coming towards me. Anyway, after that, I'm just driving anywhere in it. Yeah. Didn't have a licence. Didn't have a licence till 74, I don't think.
Really?
1974.
Joking?
No, 72 or 74. Got a driving without a licence, but anyway. Yeah. So